Listen, you know how people talk about the wage gap and how it's real? Okay, sure. You know what? Fine. Guilty. Because 97% of the population doesn't have the balls, the ovaries, the penis, the vaginas, whatever you want to call it, to do this job. So you know what? I'm okay with being a wage gap because you know what? They deserve a shit ton more than I can do. Pride to them. Just yes. Give them the cash. Chase Lee Hockey here at the Blue Futon reviewing Last Breath. What's about pretty similar premises based off a true story and a doc apparently as well about a guy named Chris who gets stuck just doing this job, which this job is no joke. You're decompressing for 4 days in a cylinder. Then you're going in another cylinder to go like 100 feet down. There's 3 people in the cylinder. 2 go down. 1 is kind of the making sure everything is good. 2 divers. One of them gets stuck and he's down there for an X amount of time. And they got to figure out, is it going to be a body recovery or save his life? So, oh my gosh. And the good thing about this, I think a lot of people didn't know this is based off a doc. And with that, everyone in the theater liked it. This is one of the very few movie Mystery Mondays that no one walked out of. I was afraid people were going to walk out of it because, okay, is this a little bit slow for some people? But I think when it got to that point, people were so damn curious what the hell was going to happen. The acting, fantastic. The look of the movie, great. The pacing, great. The grit, the grind, the writing is good. Yes, you could say like, you look at the real life people and you look at the actors, you're like, yeah, none of them really look like them whatsoever. Except maybe Woody Harrelson, but, you know, that's Hollywood for you. But this movie does its job. When you look for a movie about a true story, about miracles, about, you know, just desires, about, you know, how much of a bitch you are. This is for you and me. So like I said, positives. The acting in this movie is fantastic. And that's what the great thing about this movie is. It's not a one-person show. Woody Harrelson is maybe in it for half of it. Simon Liu's in it for maybe half of it. Cliff Curtis in it for half of it. You see what I'm getting at? Where it's a very shared movie about the divers, the company of the divers, the people controlling the ship and trying to get the scenario to try to save Chris. And with that, this is where I notice in very few movies do this, is you know how you watch a movie, right? And it's always bitching back and forth of like, no, I know how to save this person's life. No, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah, 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 blah. And the bitching. Here? No. This is about discipline. This is about respect. This is about knowing the job and knowing who knows best. You don't bitch. You don't argue in situations like this. You don't go, oh, maybe I should. No, you go, got it. Can you do this? I think I can override this ship if I do this manually. Go do it. You got permission. I think we need to take this ship over manually. First captain, first lieutenant. I'm not in the Navy, so I don't know. But they're like, we got this. Okay. It's one of those things where it's like a breath of fresh air, where there's no arguing in this movie. It's about saving someone's life and doing the right humanistic thing possible. And you're just like, thank you for being so down to freaking earth and grounded. And when it came to like morphing, this reminded me of Patriots Day on some extent, of like morphing real life scenario, like real life footage with, the Hollywood footage, if you want to put it that way. And I really dug it where you're just like, oh, because also when the story begins, you're thinking that's the ending, and it's not. And I really dug that where you're just like, oh, there's more to talk about. There's more to do. There's more things to think about. And you think you know where the story's going to go with, like, this a type of story like this, but you still don't know because you're thinking, oh, shit, things are going south real quick. And with this basically being about a person based off a documentary, it's like they got to be as realistic as possible. So with this movie, I'm just like, yo, give me more. This is what I like to see through and through. It's a quick hour and a half movie. The pacing's solid. You feel the dilemma in this movie, and my God, it brings my 2 biggest fears in the world: death and the unknown of the ocean. All right, have you ever been on a cruise line and you're just looking at the ocean? And at night, do it at night, because at day you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. At night, where the lights are just dimming at the water down below and you can't really see what's out there. That's terrifying because you don't know how far north, south, east, west it is, and you have no idea how deep that motherfucker goes. Is it a crevasse? Is it a cave? Is it just fault lines where you're just going to keep dropping and dropping and dropping? Oh, that just, oh. But yes, Last Breath. This movie does its job correctly. It is inspiring. It does what a movie's supposed to do. Bring people hope. Wonder about, you know what? Sometimes science can't figure out why some people survive. And sometimes there's just good old miracles. This isn't a religious story. I'm not being religious. But they say something at the end, which is basically like, don't know. And we can't figure it out. And you know what? Some scientists, some people just can't understand that. But sometimes it's okay not to understand and just accept that there's good things in the world and there's good people, and maybe we're just not that all different and we're not all Facebook keyboard warriors. So Last Breath will receive a 4.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals at 90%. Let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. Critics, nothing. Audience score, nothing. I am about 4 days advanced for this, so you know what? I'm the only one, so congratulations, Last Breath. You get the first review of a 90%. 90%. Cheese out here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know things Futontopia. You Blue Futonians. Take watch for a great day. I don't watch this tape tomorrow week for a month or a year from every single freaking one of you. Peace and love, peace and love. And yeah, take my money. Just take my money.